Fans of the late Spanish singer-songwriter Camilo Sesto are in utter shock at the dramatic demise of his only son Camilo Blanes Jr., also known affectionately as Camilín. The young man is sadly on the brink of death. And because of the legal circumstances in Spain, no one can do anything to rescue Camilín and save him from the bitter blow that is about to end his young life. Camilín was born in Mexico City in 1983 from a short-lived relationship between the Spanish singer and Mexican journalist Lourdes Ornelas. Camilo Sesto eventually moved back to Spain, and although he cut off ties with Lourdes, he kept a fairly close relationship with his only son Camilín, whom he felt very proud of. In the early 2000s, after Camilo Sesto had retired from his successful singing career, he withdrew from the public eye and secluded himself in a large house in a leafy suburb of Madrid. He was soon joined by young Camilín, who enjoyed the luxury of a very comfortable life, where his only duty was to work on the launch of his own musical career at his own pace. Camilín eventually released an album with modest success. Meanwhile, his mother tried her best to keep a check on the young man's mental health issues and his past addiction problems from her home in Mexico. After Camilo Sesto sadly died in September 2019, Camilín became the sole heir to an impressive fortune, with no one to be accountable to. That was the start of his rapid demise, as there were no bars held to his comings or goings or the company he kept. His mother could only make desperate cries for help, as she was extremely concerned about Camilín's mental and physical state. She claimed he was unfit to live by himself, and that he needed urgent medical care. Indeed, in 2021 Camilín was found on the ground one winter night, not far from his house, wearing only shorts and a t-shirt. He had fallen off his bike and had to be treated for hypothermia in hospital. In 2022, he was rushed to hospital after being found unconscious at his home. It was a narrow escape for Camilín, who was in coma for a week. But the situation now in April 2023 is coming to a head. Camilín recently posted selfies of himself looking out of sorts, wearing a black wig and sporting a teethless grin. The sight of those photos have sounded all the alarms and filled the public with shock. Yet the tragedy is that no one can do anything to help Camilín. Lourdes says she knows the end is nigh. She says in Mexico she would be able to save her son's life, but here in Spain it's apparently close to impossible to initiate an incapacitation procedure. As in the famous book, Chronicle of a Death Foretold, we know the sad outcome, we know it's near and that no one can do anything. It's a real tragedy also for all the Camilo Sesto fans, who will never forget his eternal songs.